פרק 50 משנה א', 5th chapter, first משנה. משנתנו היא ההמשך למשנה ג' בפרק הקודם. This Mishnah is a continuation of the Torah, the continuation of the incense of the third Mishnah in the previous chapter. שם למדנו, over there we learned, שאחר וידוי השני, that the high priest, as we learned, made the vidui twice, one for him and his family and once for all the kohanim. שחט, this is on the bull, שחט הכהן הגדול את פרו, the high priest shechted his bull, וקיבל את דמו במזרק, and he received his blood in a receptacle, ונתנו לכהן שיהיה ממרס בו עד שיחזור מעבודות הקטורת לעזותו. And he gave it to another Kohen to mix it up on the four tiles next to the temple. כדי שלא יקרש אדם בין ידיים, so that the blood is not going to congeal. אחר כך נטל מחתה של זהב, then he took the shovel of gold, ועלה לראש המזבח, he went up to the altar, the outside altar, ונטל בה מן המערכת המיוחד לכך, there was a special bonfire for that, and he took גחלי אש, he took coals. וירד והניחה לרובד הרביעי שבזרה אצל מרס אדם. And he put it next to the guy who was mixing the blood. So that's where we were last time. משנתנו ממשיכה איפה בתיאור העבודה של כהן גדול. We're going to continue straight from there. הוציאו לו, he took it out, לאחר שהניח הכהן הגדול את המחתה של הגחלים על הרובד הראשי בזרה. So after the Kohen put the coals next to the guy with the blood, הוציאו לו את הכף. They gave him a spoon, okay, another receptacle, another vessel, another spoon, של זהב, of gold, ריקה מלשכת הכלים. So it's another vessel of gold, empty one. ואת המחתה, and they also gave him a dustpan, מלאה קטורת דקה מן הדקה. Another dustpan full of incense, the refined incense, like we said, מלשכת בית אבטינס. There was a portion of the Beit HaMikdash, there was a house over there, it was the house of Avtinas, that's where they used to make the incense. וחפן מתוך אותו מחתה. So now he is going to take with both his hands from that מחתה, מלוא חופניו, full hands, קטורת, incense, כמו שנאמר, ולקח מן המחתה גחלי אש, like it says, he is going to take from the shovel coals, מעל המזבח לפני השם, from on top of the altar, ומילא חופניו קטורת סמים דקה. And he's going to fill his hands with a refined incense. ונתן לתוך הכף. And so they giving him a big cup, with all the incense. He's taking as much as he can, and he's going to put it into the golden cup. Okay. ונתן לתוך הכף, ונתן לתוך הכף את הקטורת שבחופניו, and he gave all the incense that is in hands in the special vessel that the golden vessel that they just gave him. So it says, how much does he take? Usually in the temple, there's measurements for everything. Over here, there's no measurements. What is the measurements? The measurements is his hands. That's the measurement. הגדול לפי גדלו, והקטן לפי קטנו. If he has big hands, it's a lot. If he has small hands, it's a little. כלומר, שלא ידעת מידת קבועה לקטורת. It wasn't a specific amount, אלא לפי חופניו של הכהן. It was according to the hands of the Kohen. הגדול עם גדולים עם קטנים, whether it was big, whether it was small. וכך הייתה מידתה. And this is how much was the קטורת, של הקטורת. לא פחות ולא יותר ממלוא חופניו של הכהן גדול. It was exactly full hands of the high priest. בגמרא מבואר, in the Gemara it explains, כמידתה בחוץ, כך מידתה בפנים. It says the way he did it outside, we're going to see soon, he's going to go into the Holy of Holies with it. He says, we need to have exactly the same measurement where he took it first, put it in the cuff. He's going to retake it in the Holy of Holies. And it has to be exactly the same. כמידתה בחוץ, כך מידתה בפנים. מה בחוץ היה חופן בחופניו ממש ולא בכלי, just like outside he used to take it with his hands without a vessel, כך בפנים, when he's going to go into the Holy of Holies, היה מערת מן את הקטורת מן הכף לתוך חופניו ממש. So he will take from this vessel, from the golden vessel, and put it in his hands. How he would do it, I have no idea. Yeah? לתוך לתוך חופניו, ולא לתוך כלי העשוי כמידת חופניו.
השאלה, אני כבר בא לשאול את השאלה.
ולא לתוך כלי עשוי. So it doesn't, he didn't measure it again. There wasn't a measurement clear. Okay. So let's see what he did. נטל את המחתה, he took the shovel with the coals של הגחלים מן הרובד הרביעי בעזרה בימינו, ביד ימינו. So he's holding it like this, under, you remember, it was long. extra. ואת הכף של הקטורת בשמאלו, and the golden with the incense in the left, and he's walking now in. One in the right, the coals in the right, the incense in the vessel, in the golden vessel on the left. ואומנם מן הראוי הוא שייטול הכף בימינו והמחתה בשמאלו, and it should be exactly the opposite. What's more important? The incense or the coals? The incense is much more important than the coals. Why are you taking left? שהרי הקטורת היא עיקר המצווה, because the קטורת is the main thing. אלא בפני שהמחתה כבדה, but he doesn't want to use the left hand for the coals, because that's heavy. וחמה, and it was hot. וכף הקטורת קלה המנה, and the incense was light. לפיכך הקלו על הכהן הגדול, so therefore they said the כהן גדול, no, you have enough work to do, make sure nothing falls. Yeah? שיהיה נוטל את המחתה בימינו ואת הכף בשמאלו. It says you can take the heavy one in the right with the coals and the light one in the left. Okay. וכך נכנס להיכל. So now he goes into the היכל. Okay. This is not the Holy of Holies, it's the one before. והוא היה מהלך בהיכל, and he used to walk in the היכל, למול מערב, to the west, of the east and the west. עד שמגיע לבין שני הפרוכת המבדילות בין הקודש ובין קודש הקודשים. Until he reached the curtains between the holies and the two holies. There were two curtains over there. וביניהם אמה. And between the two curtains, there was a space of one amma. So there was a curtain, an amma, and another curtain. בין פרוכת לברוכת היה רבע חמה. Between the two parochet was a distance of one amma. שכן בבית ראשון היה מבדיל בין ההיכל ובין הקודש הקודשים כותל בעובי של מערכה. It says why? Because in the first house we know for sure it wasn't two curtains. It was a wall of one amma. והוא נקרא אמת רקסין. And it was called an amat raksin. That was in the first temple. They knew. Yeah, I'm sure there was an opening. ואילו בבית שני, but in the second temple, שהיה גבוה הרבה יותר מבית ראשון, that was much higher than the first temple, אי אפשר היה להעמיד שם כותל בעובי של אמה אחת בלבד. You couldn't stand a wall, because if it's a high wall, it needs to be wide the engineering wasn't good enough for it to stand. Yeah, it needed a certain length in it, because they used to build like this. Light at the top and heavy in the bottom. So it was so high. והיו צריכים לעשות פרוכת בין ההיכל לקודש הקודשים כמו המשכן, and they needed to make a separation. So how are you going to make the separation? אבל ספק היה להם עם אותו האמה של עובי הקודל קדוש. So they can make a curtain, but they didn't know where to put the curtain. In other words, what was the question? The question is the wall part of the Holy of Holies, or is the wall part of the Holy? So they didn't know where exactly. So what they did is they put one here and one here. So in between we don't know what the status. We know from here to here it's holy. From here it's holy of holy. And from here to here it's just holy. Okay. או קדושתה כלחות. They didn't know if the wall belongs to the holy of holies or it doesn't belong to the holy. לפיכך עשו שם שתי פרוחות. This was in the second temple. They made two curtains. זו לפנים זו. This one inside the other one. וביניהם חלל של אמה כעוביו של הקודש בבית הראשון. And in between them there was an amma just like in the first temple. רבי יוסי אומר, רבי יוסי disagrees, לא הייתה שם אלא פרוכת אחת בלבד. He says no, there was only one curtain, כמו במשכן, just like in the tabernacle, שנאמר, והבדילה הפרוכת לכם בין הקודש ובין הקודש קודשים. Because he says they can't go against the Torah. The Torah says one parochet. There was only one parochet. ולדעת רבי יוסי, אנחנו יודעים רבי יוסי, but what are you going to do with this amma? Yeah? לא היה להם ספק כלל בעניין amma. רבי יוסי said, you're talking nonsense. They knew exactly where the amma is. אלא ברור היה להם אם כלפנים, אם כלחוץ. He says, they knew. I don't know what they knew, he said, but they knew it either belongs to the inside or they knew to the outside. So they put it either on the outside or they put it on the inside. ותלו את הפרוכת במקום שקדושת קודש קודשים נגמרת. And they put the curtains at the place where there's no more holy of holies. That's good. מכל מקום, משנתנו ממשיכה לפי דעת כנה. Nevertheless, our Mishnah is going to continue according to the first opinion that there were two curtains. שהיו שם שתי פרוחות. אוקיי. החיצונה, the outside curtain, הפרוכת החיצונה שלצד ההיכל, this is means to the holies, not to the holy of holies, הייתה פרופה. used to be פרופה. What's פרופה? ראשה כפול לצד אחד. It was like the head was double to one side, ונאחז בקר של זהב. Just like we see on the windows. Like you hold it like this and you hang it. Yeah? כדי שישאר שם מקום כניסה, so that you can have an opening. So the outside was always you can see that it's a little bit like this. You can open in. מן הדרום, מקצה שבצד דרום, from the south. והפנימית מן הצפון, and the inner one was the same thing, but it was from the north. So when you go in, the outside was open this way and the inside was open this way. So that you can't see into it. You know, you'll have to go like this, like an S.
It's like sometimes עושים את זה לשירותים, שלא תראה.
Yeah, exactly, it's the same idea. והפרוכת הפנימית של צד קודש קדושים הייתה פרופה מקצה שבצד הצפון. The inner one was exactly the opposite way. והכהן הגדול נכנס עם המחתה בימינו. So he goes in between now, in between the curtains. With the coals in his right, והכף בשמאלו, and the container of incense in his left, במקום הפריפה שבדרום של הפרוכת החיצונית, והיה מהלך ביניהם משני הפרוחות, and he used to walk in between the two curtains, עד שמגיע לצפון, until he reached the north side, למקום הפריפה שבצפון של פרוחות הפנימית, to the north. So he used to make an S. He used to go in, go like this, go in, go like this. הגיע לצפון, he reached the north, נכנס דרך הפריפה לקודש הקודשים. He went in here, went all the way down here, went all the way down there, and then into the Holy of Holies. הופך פניו לדרום, he turned, now he's in the Holy of Holies. Right now he's in the Holy of Holies. So when he's in the Holy of Holies, he turned his face to the south, לילך עד בין בתי אהרון, because he's in the edge now. So now he has to go to the middle. So he walks into the middle until he's in the middle of the room between the two badim. לילך עד בתי אהרון, שהם באמצע החלל של קודש הקודשים. The ark used to be in the middle of the Holy of Holies. This is where the ark was. והוא מהלך לשמאלו עם הפרוכת. And he walks to the left together alongside the curtain. כלומר, כשיד שמאלו לצד הפרוכת, which means the incense is next to the parochet, and he's walking, let's say this is the parochet, he's walking this way. כשהמהלך מצפון לדרום, שמאלו למזרח, because when you walk from north to south, your left is in the east. והרי הפרוכת היה במזרחו של קודש הקודשים, and the curtains was on the east of the Holy of Holies. עד שהוא מגיע לארון. So now he's by the ark, right next to the ark. בגמרא מבואר, in the Gemara it's expressed, למקום הארון, to the place of the ark. שהרי מדובר במשנתנו בבית שני. Because our Mishnah says, there's no ark there. The ark is gone already from the middle of the first temple. It's not there anymore. So, what do you mean until it gets to the ark? There's no ark. But the ark is, the place is also down there. ובבית שני לא היה שם ארון. The second temple, also the end of the first temple, there was no ark. לא היה שם ארון. הגיע לארון, so he received the place of the ark, he reached the place of the ark, נותן את המחתה של הגחלים בין שני הבתים של הארון. So he puts the golden shovel on the floor with the coals, exactly in the middle. הוא מבואר בגמרא, and explains in the Gemara, כבין שני הבתים. It's as if he's putting them between the two. Yeah, like it was there. Then what does he do? צבר את הקטורת על גבי הגחלים. Now this is the most hardest one. Now he's got the cup full of incense. No, he's not. He has to put his hands. Yeah. Now he's tzavar. Now he goes into the cup and he needs to take it from the cup and put it on the גחלים. כבר הזכרנו, we already mentioned, שהכהן הגדול צריך היה בקודש הקודשים, that the high priest needed to, when he was in the Holy of Holies, להחזיר את הקטורת לתוך אופניו, to return exactly the same amount he took in the outside, now he needs to retake in the inside. וליתן אותם מתוך החופניים על הגחלים, and then to give it from his hands on the coals, not from the vessel, he cannot pour it from the vessels. כך צריך היה להיזהר. Now was the difficulty. What was the difficulty? שלא ייפול מן הקטורת לארץ אפילו כחרדל. If even a small little seed will come out, that's it, it's over. שאם לא כן, נמצא מלוך אופניו חסר, because if a חרדל fell, a small little seed fell, that's it. He doesn't have the measurement that he had outside, the whole thing is off. ופרשו בגמרא, and they explains in the Gemara, שלאחר שהניח הכהן הגדול את מחתת הגחלים, so now the כהן גדול used to put the shovel with the coals down. היה אוחז בראשי אצבעותיו של שתי ידיו את ידית הכף, so he used to hold with the heads of his fingers the handle of the golden cup, with the hands of the fingers, he used to hold the handles of the golden cup, לבין אצילי ידיו, והכף עצמה בפס ידיו, ומטה את הכף לצידה מעט, עד שתתראה הקטורת כל התוך העולם. He was holding it like this, go like this, and tilt it until it will empty into his hands. Yeah. Difficult maneuver, let's call it this way. ומטה עד ש... וזוהי... So it says in Yom Kippurim, by the way, on Yom Kippurim it says avodah kasha. It says when he talks about avodah kasha, that's what they refer to. Nothing else is kasha. This is avodah kasha. וזהו avodah kasha במקדש. And this is when it refers to hard job in the מקדש. Yeah. זה ששנו במשנה, this is what we learned in the Mishnah, צבר את הקטורת מתוך אופניו לגבי גחלים שבמחתה, then he's going to collect all the incense from his hands on the coals that's in the shovel, כלומר שהיה צוברה במחתה לצד מערב, it was to the west, רחוק ממנה כדי שלא יחווה, far away from it so that it's not going to get burnt. And then what happened? נתמלא כל הבית כולו עשן. Then the entire Holy of Holies got filled with smoke. That was the smoke. והרמב"ם כותב, הוא ממתין שם עד שיתמלא הבית עשן. He would wait until he would not be able to see anything. In other words, it was full of smoke. Then what is it does? יצא ובא לו. Then after the whole room is full of smoke, he goes out מקודש הקודשים להיכל, from the Holy of Holies to the היכל before it. בדרך בית כניסתו, exactly the same way he came in, he goes out. כדרך שנכנס, just like we leave a holy place, like in דוש 18, we walk backwards. So he walked backwards throughout the things. שלא יהיה מחזיר פניו לצאת אלא הולך אחורנית ופניו לקודש קודשים בשמירת הכבוד. In other words, he would not turn his backside to the Holy of Holies. He would walk backwards. הוא מתפלל תפילה קצרה בבית החיצון. And he would daven a short davening in the heichal. So he's not in the Holy of Holies anymore. He's in the heichal. ולא היה מאריך בתפילתו. And he used to make it very short. Why specifically very short? Because the people are thinking he's dead. So that people are not going to start worrying, maybe he's not... שלא להבעית את ישראל. So that the Jews are not going to become... The Jewish people are not going to become scared that he died. שאילו היה מתמהמה, because if he would wait, היו חששים שעמד בפנים, they would be afraid, maybe he died inside. לפי שקבלה הייתה בידם, because it was, there was, how do you say קבלה? It was passed down through generation in their hands, שכהן גדול המשנה דבר בת הקטורת, that if the כהן גדול doesn't succeed in doing it the right way, like we said, או אינו הגון, or is not befitting to be a high priest, הרי הוא מת שם, he dies immediately there. בגמרא מובא שכך הייתה תפילה של כהן גדול. The Gemara says, look, this is what the Kohen Gadol used to say, and this is exactly what he used to say. That's it. Very short. What he used to say, יהי רצון מלפניך, may it be in front of you God's will, השם אלוקינו, God our God, שאם תהיה שנה זו שכונה, that if this year we're supposed to have no rain, שכונה means no rain, תהיה גשומה, we should have rain, ולא יסור שבט מבית יהודה, and that the house of Yehuda is going to remain in power. You know, our king is going to remain a good king from the house of Yehuda. We don't want Binyamin. We don't want the Kohani, the Maccabim. The house of Yehuda. ולא יהיה עמך בית ישראל צריכים זה לזה. There's not going to be one Jew who will need charity from another Jew, לפרנסה. ואל תיכנס לפניך תפילת עוברי דרכים. And when we are leaving in the regel, we are leaving to go back to our houses, those farmers who are davening for rain, you shouldn't accept their davening, because we're still on the way back to our homeland. Once we get there, then you can daven for rain. Up to